Welcome, welcome, welcome everyone to another adventure into reality. I am once again joined by my intrepid co-host, Martina GrübMueller. Welcome to the show, Martina.
Thank you very much. So good to be here. Looking forward to our chat today.
Yes, we are going to be jumping in, but we want to let everyone know the way that Zoom works now. You cannot let everyone in the room all at once like a giant flood. So if you are in the waiting room, just be patient. You will still be able to listen to the show, but Zoom has changed their features where people have to be let in individually. So if you are listening on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or Twitch, Robert is going to put up some information here in just a moment that allows you to come and be a part of the Zoom room. So that's right, you can be a part of the conversation today. We curate all of our questions from the chat room here in the Zoom room. So if you are on any of the other platforms and want to ask questions direct here, you've got to be in the Zoom room. It's really easy. You just look at the Zoom link that's up there, the meeting ID number, and then it'll ask you to come into the Zoom room and you can be a part of the chat room. We are going to be opening up calls here just in a minute because we want to hear what's going on with our audience member. So much has gone on in the last couple of weeks. We also want to talk about the many, many previous shows that we've did. We know we've built up a gigantic audience now where people are really learning a lot of stuff from what we've done, Martina and I have done. So if you want to click on the participants button and click raise your hand, you will be able to raise your hand and we will be selecting people to be callers here in just a little bit. So Martina, how's it going with you today?
Going really well, being really, really excited. Yeah, I don't know.
So today we are going to talk just for a little bit about antiques. One of the subject matters we haven't talked about before. Antiques are one of those things that get passed throughout history. You know, I have a dresser that's 150 years old that was made by Amish people in Pennsylvania. And how did it get all the way here to Ohio? Antiques are one of those unique things that people have been collecting ancient art pieces that just jump generations. You know, some of the Van Gogh paintings or Degas or any of the big artists, how their artwork has touched people from generation to generation to generation.
Absolutely. Now, I think an antique is actually considered, it has to be 100 years and older in order to be justified as an antique. So when I think of antiques, I think of all sorts of secondhand, bric-a-brac and everything that has an intrinsic value that is a bargain that you can pick up without really knowing what it is, if that makes any sense. So I'm a bit of a hunter. So I have never really allowed myself to learn much more about antiques for some reason. Does that make any sense?
It does. So my mom was an antique treasure hunter from early on, and I got dragged to many garage sales, estate sales at the youngest of age. So I built up an eye for unique things and could tell if it's a modern or semi-modern, what a real diamond is versus fake diamonds, stuff like that. And then paintings, quality of paintings, you can tell if what's a reprint and what's not.
Absolutely. And sometimes what I often find is when I go to these places, it's like these pieces, they find me.
Yes, they find you.
It's almost like, because I'm like, oh, I need to have that. There is no question in my mind. It's not even what is this? I have to have that. I have to buy it. Right. And then afterwards, I actually start realizing why I bought it. What is it actually?
So one of those pieces, I was working at a coffee shop when I was in my teens, and my mom's like, we're gonna go here, and I'm like, something I just did with her every now and then when I was a teenager, and I got there and I found this antique coffee grinder. It's only about this big and about that big, and it just jumped out at me, and I'm like, I have to have this. I absolutely have to have it. So I spent my $3, got this antique coffee grinder, and get it home. So this is still the age of the internet's really young. Google doesn't exist, and Windows 3.14 is pretty much the operating system that people could use. And after a few years of owning it and the internet got better, I began to realize how easy it was to hunt down antiques and to really find things that are of great value even before the internet even generated any of that stuff. And it turns out this antique coffee grinder was worth like $300.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
for my
I have this all the
$3.
time.
Yeah.
Fantastic, absolutely. And you know, my daughter, I've taken her to these markets from a very young age onwards. And in the beginning, you know, she just sold books and her clothes and everything, but she started to get a real good what's the word, cognition of everything. And now when she comes with me now, she picks up stuff. I'm like, whoa, I didn't even see that, you know, of real value. And she's actually starting to sell it. She is now focusing on clothes, vintage clothes, and she started selling that now on her Depop account.
Oh, cool. That's a great little
Yeah.
entrepreneurial thing for her to do.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah. So I had a journey doing eBay selling stuff like that too, because my mom was not able to handle the internet at all. And she had accumulated a half a garage full of stuff.
Oh,
And
yeah.
starting to list that stuff and see what sells and what doesn't sell. And this was the early part of eBay. I can't even remember. So 2004, 2005. So selling stuff and then what people ask for or look for, like there were a lot of these World War II era stuff that aren't considered antiques, but are highly collectible stuff, highly collectible stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've had, you know, it's a big learning curve, which I haven't really got myself on, to be honest. But I keep saying I'm going to make a business out of it. But then, you know, I love buying. I just don't like selling. I'm not interested in the selling of it. I love buying. So I have all these things around in my house. And when I actually look at the things, they all represent a part of me. It's almost like they're all part of different lifetimes that I've been, because I find a lot of symbolism, you know, Egyptian stuff, anything Celtic, you know, Mayan, it's all there. When you walk into the house, it's like, whoa, what's going on?
Mm-hmm. I like collecting Art Nouveau paintings and stuff like that
Oh,
too.
love it.
Yeah,
Love
and
it.
then I got to the point I'm like, I have too many. I have way too many. It's like I would never need wallpaper that many, and I ended up selling them off. Every now and then, I would like find some paintings that I bought for 5, 10, $20 and turn around and sell them for 200-300 here or there, and I'm like, wow.
Here you go.
Yeah, and
But would you?
the same thing with antique firearms. Like I bought a bunch of antique guns and firearms from the Civil War and post-Civil War era that were considered antiques, and stuff that you think is just a fake wall piece actually turns out to be a real gun from the American Civil War.
Exactly. And for me, these are assets. It's not something,
Yes.
it's not clutter. It's not, I mean, my partner was just, what is this shit? You know, it's bringing home and hoarding this and that. But I don't see it like this at all. And the other thing that I don't seem to have, lots of people actually talk about haunted pieces, like you said, you know, early on and stuff like that. But I don't get that. And I think, is it possible that my DNA skin suit has an integrated way of clearing as soon as I pick it up? At least that's my belief system, to be honest.
No, there are haunted pieces out there, but far too many people haunt their own pieces.
Right.
And a lot of people who don't want to get rid of their stuff, or the stuff was sold because they were put into a nursing home, they're attached to those things, and they can be easily cleared out with what you were saying. And then there's items that have jumped several generations, that had several ownerships. And a lot of people think all these antiques haunted. The vast majority of them are not haunted. They're just stagnant energy that's left inside them. And once you begin to love and admire the piece, it transforms what's in it. Now, there's certain art paintings that could, out of vibration from the original painter, that can bring odd energies into it. But you can cleanse all of these pieces very easily.
Absolutely.
Okay.
And you don't have to do huge rituals, or I don't do rituals at all with them. I just, if there is a bit of a weird, you know, energy that's coming off it, I might just work a little bit around it, you know, give it a really good cleanse. So I take it out into the sun and allow the sun to help me.
Right.
But
just washing it with
yeah,
with neutral chemicals that don't do anything to the stain, by putting your effort and energy into, you can clear off all of that old crust.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So, but this, for instance, it's not it's a very old piece. I met a lady once when I was still working in the corporate world. And funny enough, she was from Austria too. And we started talking, and she was a collector. She was very good. She knew exactly what the value was. She was in her 80s at the time. And I used to go there on a monthly basis, you know, and she unpacked all her stuff and showed me everything. And we just went through it. It was such a beautiful way of communicating our passion. And we did the same thing. Every time I came, she showed me her pieces, and every time we found something else that came through.
That's awesome when you're able to share something like that with somebody.
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we're going to open up the phone lines today and give everyone that's been diligently watching all of the shows Martina and I have done to have an opportunity to talk to us about some of the past shows. This is not about reading, so please do not be selfish and ask specific questions about yourself. This is about the material we've covered. If you want to talk about antiques, if you want to talk about world politics, we could delve in there too. But it's really about the shows Martina and I have been doing. So, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who we're going to have as our first converser today.
All righty. Welcome, everyone. Alan Cheslow.
Alan, are you there?
Oops.
Alan.
I have to re-unmute him. There we go.
Okay. Alan, are you there?
Alan going once.
Going twice, Alan. 3 times. All right, let's move on, Robert.
Okie dokie. Ren.
Ren, are you there?
What? Hi, I'm here.
How you doing today?
I am awesome. It's so awesome to speak to you finally.
Great. Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Arizona.
Welcome to the show. What did you want to talk about today?
Okay, so I had an experience with antiques before that that was kind of like actually really scary, but my best friend's mom was showing us like old antiques of the hobo dolls.
Yep.
And that night we were painting her room, and I went to go get a leveler in her garage, and it was a real quick moment, and I came back to go put it away, and then all the hobo dolls were like scattered all over the garage. And that was like the scariest moment of my life because I was so scared of dolls. But I was wondering what connections there are to like antique dolls and energies, or like is it possession?
So it isn't possession. Did you have a doll when you were a kid?
I had lots of dolls.
Did you talk to them?
I don't remember talking to them.
You played with them. You talked with them. You made characters. You had fun with them, and you put your innocent energy inside them. Okay. And what happens with children's tools stuff is the innocent inner child energy can become like a very low level poltergeist. Not all poltergeists are bad. They're an electromagnetic frequency that's imprinted in there that does fade kind of fast based off of how much it's played with. In that situation with the hobo dolls, I bet you was just another ghost in the house that got pissed off at the doll energy in the dolls, and it just scattered them around.
Oh, okay.
And then there are those creepy ass dolls from the 1880s and 1890s, and they scare us today, but back then they were the most innocent things to those children. Okay, the vast majority of entities will not remain in an inanimate object because there's no life force in it.
Okay.
Okay. Now, let's say you had an object that witnessed many murders. Is the murder of the people imprinted into the doll? No, this is not Chucky, like the movie, and Chucky lives. There may be a background energy imprinted into it, but once again, it can be easily cleared off. Now, people are going to go, there are haunted ass items out there and items that have had ritual and dark magic done on them. But are they going to do it on your dresser drawers? No. Okay. Okay. They're not going to do it on dolls. No. Kids' dolls. No. They're going to do it on things like dining room tables. Why a dining room table? Well, that's where you can harvest a lot of energy. You still there? Oh, looks like she's muted again, Robert.
Yes, I'm here. Sorry.
It's
I
okay.
had to mute myself. So that's really interesting. So you're saying that those dolls that were there at the moment were connected to my childhood
No.
energies?
No. Those hobo dolls?
No. Okay, yes.
The hobo dolls weren't connected to you. It was probably some other entity in the house just mushing them up because they had an energy on it didn't like.
Okay. That's
Okay.
that's really interesting because there were like some Annabelle dolls in them too.
Mm-hmm.
And
Ask them about the draining feeling about the brass armadillo.
So I go to I used to go to a bunch of the antique stores here at Brass Armadillo and like a bunch of ones in the Apache Junction. I've always felt like very drained from just being in the settings there.
And that's ghosts in the building, not in the antiques.
Okay,
ghosts in the buildings.
Right.
Yeah.
If you like, there are many bookstores and antique stores or just tchotchke stores that have ghosts waiting in there.
Oh, okay.
They're just waiting for you. Yeah.
They're just there to like they're just there
like you're like a customer and you're the service they want.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
Okay.
That's awesome. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, well that's awesome to hear. I've always really loved antiques, so
don't be afraid of them.
Okay, I won't. Thank you, Andrew.
You're welcome. Martina, is there anything you want to add?
Yeah, I do actually. I don't know what those hobo dolls are or anything, but you mentioned poltergeist. That was the first thing that came into my mind too. And isn't there an element of Ren's energy, Ren's consciousness, somewhat, communicating with those dolls and actually just playing with them, maybe from a place of what you did with your in childhood, that actually you through your conscious entanglement sort of created that arrangement afterwards.
Yeah, I feel like consciously I've always like the first I threw all my dolls away as a kid because I saw like the first Chucky commercial. I didn't even see the movie, but I got so scared and I threw them all away because I remember once I looked at one of my old dolls that I got from my grandma's neighbor. She collected like antique dolls and she gave me one. And I remember I looked at one before and they're in the closet and I was looking at one and it like turned its head. And I was just like, okay, that's absolutely, I gotta let you go. So I
think this is just your consciousness, just having a bit of fun with them, and just I would actually see that as this is not scary for me. That is actually, wow, I can do that. That's amazing, isn't it?
Martina, you've never seen any of the Chucky movies, have you?
No.
Okay, a doll. There's a serial killer that gets killed, and his soul goes into this doll called a Chucky doll, and then this doll comes alive and goes around stabbing people with a knife.
But who watches crap like that? I don't watch stuff like that.
I know, but it greatly influenced a lot of people to throw out their toys. Let me tell you.
Okay, Ren, don't watch these movies. Just clear up. And that's it.
I won't.
And as one more thing, you were saying like your energy gets drained when you go to these certain places. What I find, because my markets are usually outside in nature, so you're not really tangled that much. But when I go into charity shops, London is an amazing place for charity shops. And I sometimes walk in and I start yawning right away, like balancing out the energies and everything. So by the time I walk out, I've cleared. They should pay me, you know, by going in there, coming out, clearing all the ghosts, those energies. Seriously, you know.
Yeah.
Turn it out, create that energy. It doesn't have to drain you. Just know that you've got a capacity with those energies and just out create it.
Yeah, awesome advice, Martina. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Thanks for calling in. We're going to move on to our next caller.
Okay,
Have a good
see
day.
you guys.
All right.
Bye.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Okay, we got Alan back. Alan, you there?
Alan,
Yes,
are
sir.
you there? How you doing?
Doing well. How about you guys?
Great. Where are you calling from?
Near St. Louis, Missouri.
Welcome to the show. What did you want to talk about today?
The energies of July and walk-in technology and the concept of a partial walk-in. Does that make sense? Like, if,
There's no such thing as a partial walk-in.
Okay.
It is or it isn't.
okay.
Okay.
There is a lot of things going on in July that you guys were talking about with previous callers, and just things specifically in like my reality. I'm not sure question right. So,
Yeah, I'm trying to decipher the question. So you're trying to find, is that a horse in the background?
no, like that.
Those bongos thingy.
No, that was like my tongue. Like I was
Okay.
clicking, and it helps to clear out and make my
Cool.
brain think calm.
So what was the question you wanted to ask?
I feel like something happened in July right before my birthday, like, and I'm having a hard time placing or understanding like my brain, because like it just goes into clicks. Like it was going. I was heavily in the light language. I had just lost a baby and stuff, and there's a lot of information. But I was like seeing
so
lots of light ships.
So
and
today is not for personal call-in shows. It's about for the subject matters we're talking about. Why don't you just call in on the Thursday show, and then we'll work with some of that information.
okay, thank you.
All right. Thanks for calling, Alan. We'll talk to you on Thursday. All
All
right,
right.
Robert. Let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Okie doke. Vida Vitale.
Vida Vital, are you there?
Yes, I am.
How are you doing today? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from the Houston area.
Houston, welcome to the show. What did you want to talk about today?
I would like some more information on the time travel show. That was mind-blowing and extremely informative. But as I want to kind of try to conceptualize it in a way, I know it's a dense topic, but so that I can talk about it with people who maybe aren't aware of the ability within our human form to do time travel. And then also the more of the technology related to it.
So it's such a dense subject matter. Until you've mastered just the observation of it itself, it's not a topic matter you want to do to other people unless they're already part of your peanut gallery.
Okay.
Okay. So it's one of those things, unless you are practiced at the conversation and the people you are with practice with the conversations, all the context is there. It's difficult because a lot of other people can't stretch their envelope of belief like we do on these shows. And that show was very much stretching the envelope of what was believing. Now, what were some of the subject matters from the show that you want to talk about? Are there any specifics that you want us to re-talk about?
Yeah, and it kind of, it's not a personal reading, and so you can let me know if this isn't a good time to say it, but I had had a personal reading with you, and you had said something about me having gone and done time traveling during that period that I was on. And so, of course, that instantly brought up something for me. And in terms of the ability during meditation, during trance work for humans to do time traveling.
Well, that's the nature. Once you exit the 3D matrix and you enter the fourth dimension, you are in a timeless space. And it allows you to create energy bodies that can go to other time-space locations that get a timestamp while you're still here, which allows you to experience multiple timestamps locations while you're on that spiritual journey. We are naturally travel through time because we are past, present, and future beings simultaneously existing. Martina, is there something you wanted to add there on the time travel in the body?
I just want to, I think we called that show the demystifying time travel. So I just want to add something to that. It's like you sitting here right now in your body having a chat, and you can still time travel at the same time. So it's not an outer concept that is outside of yourself. That's actually, time traveling means you're continuously going up the dimensional levels.
Absolutely.
There is this very integrated space in all of that. Like spirituality can really be embodied, and that's what everything that we do is actually big concepts, but then we embody that, and time travel is just one of those things.
Mm-hmm. It's a natural aspect of the part of the experience. Because we're locked in this Roman numeral time, as soon as we don't want to deal with Roman numeral time, we have all the other frequencies of time available to us.
Do you all find that people who, let's say, have more difficulty being inside their bodies are more prone to time traveling without themselves knowing they're doing it?
Yes.
Okay. And what are some
let's replace prone with a little word that has a little bit more negativity behind it. Propensity. Okay? Because if you're not in your body, where are you?
Absolutely.
And again, it's not something to be proud of, because whilst you're out there astral traveling, it's like the parasympathetic is just, bogging you down with all the programs.
Mm-hmm.
See, what I like to call it is a lot of people who aren't in their body, they're like a kite. Okay? And there's a string attached to them, and their soul is above their body, and their body's mindlessly walking through reality. And after a while, the kite string gets disconnected, or they let out a lot of string, and you're off somewhere else, but the kite string's still connecting you.
Absolutely.
The best way of knowing when somebody is out there is when they're not present. You're talking to them and there's nothing there. There's no reaction. There's no eye contact. Doesn't mean that you have to have eye contact. Some people need to look somewhere else in order to connect. That's a different way of the way they. But when somebody's present and when somebody is not.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And it seems as if there are a lot of people who are still asleep, who are doing that without themselves knowing it, especially those who say that they're an empath or something like that. At least that's my personal experience.
Mm-hmm. Most empaths are like kites, 25, 30 feet above their body, and have very little sensory input from the body, right? Until they feel pain or somebody else's pain. And then all of a sudden the kite gets retracted back. And as the closer the kite comes to the body, the more they have to feel, and the more they will want to let more slack out and leave you farther away.
Very good.
Thus going further out into simultaneous time and not actually being in the timestamp of where you're supposed to be having this experience.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So time travel can have some very negative aspects to it, even though it's a natural occurring experience for us as human beings. And the negativity is because you're not in your body and you're not regularly experiencing the emotions of what it means to be embodied. Okay.
Absolutely.
The regularness of the embodied emotion, that's challenging for some people.
Yes, that's a very good question. Elena just brought that up. How do we control it? And what are your, what part of the day, how long, creating ritual and ceremony around the time travel, I would assume would be the best course of action. But
well, if you're an empath, first thing first, if you're an empath, stop being an empath. Stop wearing it as a red badge of courage and stop saying it owns your ass. It doesn't. Okay, learn how to become an intuitive. Okay, stop labeling yourself that first, and acknowledge when you're not in your body. And the ritual and ceremony is the acknowledgement of in or not in my body, and what am I going to do about it?
Mhm.
There's no single ritual or ceremony that's going to keep you in your body forever.
And also, it's not a matter of controlling anything, it's a matter of choosing it.
Yep.
Okay. It comes from a level of awareness. And this is what, awareness is change. As soon as you have the awareness that this is what you're doing when you're snapping out of it, you just choose to get back into it. It's really literally just a choice, a sequence of choices, choice, staying in the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And
As
then
soon as you're going to,
learning how to stay in the present moment with more potent power. Now, that is a ritual and ceremonial journey of accepting your power and worth, and you are worthy of having this power.
Yes.
Martina, what do you want to add there?
I forgot what I was going to say, but we're all time travelers because we all have a birth and we you know what I mean? So it's like, that's it.
Exactly.
Don't make a big.
Yeah, don't make a big deal out of it.
Exactly.
Very good. Very good. Well, thank you guys so much for answering those questions.
You're welcome.
Sure, you're welcome.
How long you been listening for?
For about 3-4 months.
So have we pushed your envelope?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm sitting here right now trying to embody myself. And definitely not an easy task to do. So it is. Every single time I'm learning something, being pushed, brought to tears, mind blown. So I really appreciate everything that you all produce.
So here's a little technique. Whenever you know you're not embodied and you're really, the kite's flying high, start, I love myself in as many iterations as you can think about. I love my fingers. I love my arm. I love my hair. I love my environment. I love myself being in my environment, and make that a ritual mantra, which will help you start reeling in that kite.
Beautiful. Okay. The only thing that after listening to you all and after my session with you, I had a light language came through, and that seemed to be the first time probably in 42 years of my life that I actually could say I've been in my body.
Yes,
completely.
because light language was meant to do that. It's meant to be a manifestation of reality, and what it was doing was grounding in your body so you could make the manifestation.
Wonderful. Okay. That makes a lot of sense then. So a lot more work to try to continue to do that while speaking English and Spanish and whatever language I'm speaking.
All right. Thanks.
Really appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for
You
calling
have a
in.
lovely day. Bye-bye.
Okay.
Bye.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who's next.
Okie dokie. Dimitar asking to unmute.
Dimitar, are you there?
There, guys. Can you hear me well?
Yes. Where are you calling from?
Thank you so much for having me. I'm calling from Bulgaria.
Welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Thank you so much. Well, I have been researching a lot about you guys, Andrew, Martina. I'm so happy to see you, interact with you, because I never have the perception I see people like that I follow in real life. I'm kind of nervous, sorry. And
relax. Just relax.
I wanted to understand better because I haven't been listening to every single show of yours and how they're like very long. I've been absorbing other information. And I wanted to know what is exactly the boundary in which I can ask a question and where should it be contained? Because I do have about an antique subject related topic, a question, but also some kind of political, I heard you said at the beginning.
So basically, this is not about private session stuff. We save that for our Thursday shows. So if there's any shows you've listened to with me and Martina and want us to go deeper or further in those subject matters, we can do that. And then politics, obviously, we're nearing a time of information overload, and a lot of people want to know what's going on with the energies there.
Okay, what I know from Martina's expertise, or I don't know how to call it, is she's good.
Yeah, call it that. Thank you.
Okay, antiques, right?
Yes.
Okay, if I have a question for antiques, it would be icons and iconography, because the Orthodox Church in Bulgaria is like sometimes a little silly.
Yep.
And I had experience with a lot of icons all the time, even in churches, and they always have to this type of, I don't know if it's related to, if I should ask about the quality of the item, or if I should ask about something metaphysical about the item.
Both. So I grew up Greek Orthodox, where icons were very, very common. And I often saw 100, 200, 300-year-old icons. Icons are often prayed to, and there's an angelic energy within the prayer as a residue. And icons, even if they've experienced extreme negativity, the churches being robbed, people being killed in them, there is a high level of angelic residue built inside them that can help people connect to that prayer space.
Okay, understand. And what about some form of, I had, like, my mother used to keep them a lot in the room or whatever in the house, and I would always get this type of serpentine eyes when I would close my eyes to sleep. So I threw them one day away because I didn't know what to do with them. I was like 10 or 11. So if there's any correlation to the opposite spectrum, that would be my question.
So you perceived it as serpentine eyes, but they probably were not serpent energy. They were some other type of geometric energy that was coming in and out of the icon, which is again very common, because icons, they're simultaneously existing objects too, because embedded prayer residue makes them travel through time, because somebody from 100 years ago is alive today right now, even though we may not perceive them as alive today right now.
Mm-hmm. What type of energy did you say?
An angelic residue.
Okay, I understand.
Okay, you were just perceiving it through a fear state.
I see.
And the two eyes, there were probably portals built inside the icon at a time where something was praying through it and creating a heavy duty portal.
Yeah, it's not just eyes, but I just wanted to simplify it so I could get a feeling of it. Yeah. Okay, then that would be my question.
Okay, Martina, do you ever see icons in iconography?
I'm not entirely sure what that entails, to be honest, but
Like a painting of Jesus that's done in silver and gold paint.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I see this all the time, and I feel very drawn to it too, to be honest. But I was just saying to the caller, maybe I wanted to say, it's like also there's a lot of projection going on through the imprinting into your belief system. Now, I have no religious background whatsoever, so I look at it from a totally different perspective. I have no imprinting along those lines. I just see the beauty of it, you know. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, I understand. It's not that much of an imprint as much as I was forced into it, kind of people believing in it and maybe feeding into it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. Okay, then. Thank you so much for your answers, guys. You're awesome.
Sure. Thank you.
Right, awesome.
Bye.
Thanks for calling in. All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
All right, next caller is Joni. You're getting a signal to unmute.
Joni, are you there? Joni, are you there? Are you running to your device and stubbing your toe, Joni?
I found the unmute button.
There you go. You found your unmute. How you doing today?
I'm doing really good. Thank you, guys. I think you're both. I've been following you for like 2 months, 2-3 months. I mean, thank you for doing all of this. I mean, it's time consuming for, being on, 2-3 times a week on Zoom and YouTube. So I really appreciate your time that you're giving to us. And I've been following, like I said, 2 months, and Friday was the first time I followed the comedy. And I really enjoyed that, because it's been, this year's been such a serious time. So having this comedy show on Friday, I finally said, this is finally just to, be silly. And you make me think of my dad. My dad died this year, and about the farting. So it kind of brought me some memories, and thank you for being kind of vulnerable to kind of talk about these subjects.
Well, that was the whole point of creating the comedy show, is because we know so many light workers have a stick so far up their ass it comes out their tongue. And we have to help people disconnect from that state of seriousness and just enter a state of deep relaxation where they can allow joy, happiness to create a rumble of laughter inside them.
And it did. I laughed. I laughed so much. And Andrew, when you shared about, the beans,
Yes.
that was so funny because I could see these beautiful women walking at the club, and I used to dance on those speakers, like the big,
Yeah.
be a go-go dancer. Oh my gosh, that was so, I couldn't stop laughing. That was so funny. They only knew.
As I said in the story, well, it was a quick, I don't want to give everything away, but you can go listen to that show. Anybody that wants to know, I took vengeance in a positive way on a group of people that we're close friends, but it was a unique moment where I decided to make a chili and I didn't soak the beans. And what happens when you don't soak the beans?
Yeah, so that was anyways, I couldn't stop laughing. That was so fun because I was one of those girls. Not that I was like, no, I'm very friendly, like I'm very I'm not snobbish, or like I don't think I'm it, but I used to dance on those speakers, and if I was drunk, I just I didn't care who was around.
Right. And then you'd imagine, girls going to the bathroom all by themselves. Why? They usually go together. Yes, and just waiting for the spandex pants balloon to explode.
Oh my gosh, I'm sweating just laughing. Yeah.
Yeah. I did that show. I had laughed so hard for that show that my jaw hurt even to the next day.
Well, because it's something you held in for so many years.
Yep.
I don't think he did hold it in, did he?
No, I didn't. I let it rip.
Oh my gosh, that was funny. I just moved. I had a call. I'm from Canada, and I just moved here in Mississippi, in Biloxi, Mississippi, this year, and that was kind of something that just a voice that just came and just said, or my guide said, you're staying here. I was just coming here to be certified as a ballroom dance teacher. And the voice said so loudly that, you're staying here. So I'm in Mississippi right now. But talking about antiques and, washing, I just moved to this new house, which is about close to 100 years old. And I was washing the walls and I was crying. I could see there was so much screaming, and there was a lot of things that happened to this house, but I poured so much love while I was washing, and I put music and I danced, and I think I switched the energy. I do feel much lighter. So is that possible? Is that
Absolutely. Just by washing the walls and you putting joy and love into it takes that static, rusty energy and moves it out. That's all that residual energy that's stuck in houses, and you can sage the house, and houses in their own way are alive. And they're not based on enough of everyone that's lived there. They're the energies of the land that the house is also connected to. And when you take that loving energy and washing the walls and bringing your joy and your dance to there, it absolutely activates a part of the house that's joyous that you're there.
okay? Because my next door neighbor's backyard is a cemetery. So it's like, it made me realize every day how grateful I am alive. So I just look in my back window. I'm like, I guess it gives me the duality of life and death.
So you teach ballroom dancing in Mississippi now. That's what you do?
Actually, I'm a professional belly dancer, so I teach belly dancing. I had a beautiful studio. It was called Feminicity. It's being feminine in, it's actually, I found my femininity in the dance, which was in my mid 30s. And so I have a beautiful studio that I had in Canada, and then I closed because I had a feeling that it's time for me to travel. And I discovered ballroom dancing. So, because belly dancing is a solo dance, ballroom is a social dance, and now I really discovered ballroom dancing. Not a good time right now because we got those social distance. But there is some little clubs here where I could go and do some ballroom dancing. So I'm still learning the ballroom.
Well, ballroom dancing has its own way of jumping through history too. Now, there are some old dance halls that are in Mississippi that are still alive, and that when you go and actually do traditional ballroom big swing dancing, you can bring some of those old energies alive in those buildings.
Okay.
Yeah, there's an ancestral value to the way you do the dance, the sway of motion, the thump of the feet that just activates a rhythm that is ancient inside those buildings.
So that's actually a really cool example for time traveling.
Yeah,
Okay.
the dancers of the past are waiting there for somebody to lead them.
Yeah, it's a lot of the old buildings because of Katrina, Hurricane Katrina, has been destroyed, but some of them are being that have been restored.
Right.
But the land is there, right? Doesn't matter.
The land, it's still about the land. Okay, just because there's sticks of wood and plaster doesn't nullify the fact that the land is there too. Even if the building is destroyed, the land is still a part of that experience.
Right. And the golf courses is amazing. I could walk for miles and miles. So I've been walking bare feet on the beach every day, and I feel so close to Mother Nature. Where in Canada, I would always be inside the studio. Here, everything has changed. There's a lot of things that's been happening in my life, and I've evolved a lot in this year. So, but being bare feet in nature, walking on the Gulf of Mexico, I find that there's a big enlightenment in here, and I don't know why I was called to come here. My master teacher is here, but to stay, it's still a mystery.
Well, that's the whole point. COVID, the gift that keeps on giving.
It is. And okay, I have a question for you, Andrew. So
Okay.
did you dance? I know you were a DJ, but did you dance?
Oh yeah, quite a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was a big time dancer too.
What, ballroom dancing or siataki?
No, like modern dance to hip hop dance,
Right.
techno dancing with glow sticks, stuff like that. Very good contact juggler.
And you still dance today?
Not as much in the past. I still do my things when my music is playing. Yeah.
Yeah. And Martina?
Oh, I grew up. I'm Austrian, so that's what we learn. We learn ballroom dancing, and then we go every October to February. We have the ball season, so I've absolutely loved it. What has changed though in the UK here, there's a possibility where you can go on your own and just start dancing with anyone. And I have done this, I think, a year ago, and I realized that I can't actually do this anymore because they tried to actually imprint onto me what I had to do. There were too many rules and regulations. I have to do it a certain way, and my body was so not happy with that. When I left that evening, I was in pain, literally, because my body couldn't apply the rules and the regulations anymore. So I'm now doing the free flow dancing.
Yeah, ecstatic dancing. I still go to ecstatic dances. I do ecstatic dances too. I enjoy them a lot.
Okay, yeah. I like the belly. That's why I like belly dancing, because I'm a solo dancer. So as a belly dancer, it's kind of, it is ecstatic dancing in a sense when you're just free flowing. And ballroom dancing, there's a lot, because I want to be certified. I'm having some hard time with that, but it's like, okay, how can we could put couples where there's there's so many rules and regulations, you don't want to be dancing like a robot.
No, but it's a bit like, it's a communication between two DNA instruments. Okay, so it's the same like communication. You can feel really heavy and hurtful when you start talking to somebody who is not on your wavelength, on your vibration frequency. It's the same thing. When you have a dancer that is on your wavelength, and it doesn't even have to be technically the most amazing, person, then you can create a completely different situation. It's very much signature frequency match.
So it's a competition, I guess, that's out there that makes it so
Yeah, it was a competition. I was dancing with guys. You have to do that one. I'm thinking, Jesus Christ, there was no fun in this. It was all like, do it this way, and why are you doing it that way? No fun.
So that's why ecstatic dancing is really, it's the thing right now.
It's freeing.
Yeah.
Okay, but at the same time, if you come into it that you're going to learn ballroom dancing as part of your athletic evolution, like a lot of senior citizens, they did ballroom dancing when they were young and forgot how to dance, or the young kids that are going out, it's got its own athletic process to it too. And repetition can lead to great illumination. In Martina's sense, what she was talking about, she just achieved a state where her body needed a freedom. It didn't need a partner to guide it. Whereas ballroom dancing is about connecting with that partner and finding that unique flow, which is its own wonderful thing when you're in flow and you get all those positions and motions going, the duck, the tip, all of those little things, the twirl, and it's done right. It's synchronicity and flow, and you can just watch yourself create more joy.
To be honest, it's a bit like copulation. If you got the wrong
foreplay.
If you got the wrong partner, it's not gonna fucking work, right?
Exactly.
I just want to give you guys a big hug. Thank you so much. This is the first time that I'm on Zoom, so I might be there on Thursday. I think you guys, because there's so many, light being out there, and I'm kind of, I've been almost hoarding. And I'm like, okay, I'm decluttering. So I'm following you and another person, and that's it. So.
And then don't forget, we've got another comedy show this Friday.
Hey, yes, I'm on it now.
All right. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Okay, bye-bye.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of colors and see who is next.
Alrighty, next person will be Susan. We haven't heard from her since January.
Susan, are you there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, where are you calling from?
Awesome, Corvallis, Oregon.
Corvallis, Oregon. Welcome to the show. What did you want to talk about today?
Yeah, thanks. I'm super excited to be on. I wanted to pick up the conversation about time travel because I'm so curious about that, and I feel like I do it all the time. I was listening, earlier about 15 minutes ago, and I thought the piece about being grounded was really good advice for me. But I wanted to just to add and ask for your reflection about this. So I'm real aligned with the animals, and let's see, what animal was it? I think it was the owl. The owl was talking to me about time travel and was showing me like a spiral, and then put dots on the outer rims of the spiral, and was telling me that I could time travel by resonance, spot to spot across time, and kind of gave me a formula for time travel, or maybe it was an explanation for it, because it does seem I do it all the time, and I do it through the portal of my heart, which I hadn't really thought much for. I'm going to do more grounding exercises here, but I guess I wanted you to reflect on like that teaching from the owl and the spiral technology of, well, I don't know if that's the right word.
The owl is known as the night hunter, or the night eagle, and it is the illumination from behind. Owl is also a great teacher about light and dark. Owl also represents a knowingness when black magic is at play and how to counter it with the light magic. Owl can illuminate your blind sides also. But owl is also the chief totem of night and day, which is the nature of time travel itself, where we can jump from night to day, day to night, weeks and months advance to the past, or advance back to the future. Okay, so on and so forth. Owl has that capacity through the states of perception and watching, where an owl can be mounted on one tree for days at a time, watching a surrounding, and then move to another tree miles away and still be watching the place that it was just at. Or it can watch from dozens and dozens and dozens of places. So OWL, what it was trying to teach you is that you can observe multiple space-time locations simultaneously.
Mm-hmm.
And that each of the portal had a little notch on the edge, which was trying to tell you each one was its own time-space stamp, so that you could have many viewing portals that had their own time-space stamp to them.
Uh-huh. That's interesting. It seems like that might be what, like, that seems like that would be a good explanation of what I experience when I do readings for people. I actually have another question about time travel. Thank you for all of that about the owl. And it was actually, I mean, just the nutshell is, when I was 3 years old, I was very suicidal. And what my experience was, is that the angels came and said, yeah, you could go, but you've really got a good potential here, and we would hope you stay. And I decided to stay. And fast forward 55 years to last summer, when it just arose naturally for me to forgive my mother. And I went through this whole thing, and then I realized that I needed to go back in time and love my inner child. And so I did this whole meditation where I went back and said, I love you. And then later I was like, oh my God, was I my own angel? Did I go back in time to my own self?
The answer is you did. The answer is you did. I talk about this technique of going back to your former selves and healing yourself from the future and telling yourself you're the future self. But to be a child at 3 years old that's suicidal, there was absolutely a suicide demon in the environment.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
And that's something you should go back and use your owl as your observational skills and to see if what the suicide demon was doing in the family. Creating misery is what its purpose was.
Uh-huh. Well, that would have been
and,
my mother.
and then you purge it out of your reality.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Because I've been I've been dogging that whole thing. Like the forgiveness arose because I was tired of being angry, and was able to like really take in the gifts I got from what I experienced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you were your own angel, but there are many more moments where you can be your own angel from the future to the past, and then go into even some of those spots where you're the most joyous and happy. Okay? Not just connect to the bad times, connect to the happy times, an equal amount.
Uh-huh.
Martina, do you want to add to anything of that part where we go back and we help heal our past selves?
No, I mean, it's a big fetus in a womb teaching, isn't it? Where there's so much we can say on this.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of information actually out there if you listen to the shows, and then I would just do one of those meditations and maybe tailor it for yourself. And what I also probably would do is I would bring the owl wisdom in.
Mm-hmm.
And transcribe that's what I would do. I would transcribe the words that Andrew gave you and then incorporate those. And that sounds like it could really outcreate that energy.
I'm curious then, I mean, thank you for that. That's really deep, and I will take that advice in. I've done lots of fire ceremonies, and the declarations and such. It's helped me so much to do the declarations of sovereignty. And but it hadn't occurred to me that there was like the suicidal, what do you call it, demon? Or
suicide
I don't know if you
demon,
use that word.
Suicide demon, yeah.
That had not occurred to me. I mean, it makes sense. It comes up as a flavor in my life a lot, but I was like, nope, I'm so glad to be here. I don't want that. But it's so is it a family kind of lineage thing, or is it within a person?
It's ancestral, yes.
Interesting.
It's not a ghost off the street. It's connected to your lineage.
Uh-huh. And so is it something to like send away, or just like just not pay attention to? Or
you got to break the contracts, vows, and agreements with the DNA skin suit that you're in, past, present, and future. So there's no longer a chain of custody from father to son, daughter, mother to daughter, et cetera, or lifetime to lifetime, because they can follow you into the next soul family.
Oh, I don't want it to do that. That's for
Right.
sure.
That's why you got to break the contract styles and agreements and the energy exchange systems, cut the cords with it. Say you've taught me everything you could possibly teach you and I don't need you as a teacher anymore.
Oh,
Close down the
wow.
portals and the dream spaces in which it tortured you. You know, cut everything off. All the dream spaces you had shared, you uncreate those dream spaces. This is what's saying, out creating it. You're looking for all the states of creation that it had with you, and you're uncreating those and then creating new situations where it can never reconnect with you.
Mhm. Wow, that's really powerful. You know, I just want to speak to like your wonderful Facebook page that has all kinds of files on it. It's Friends of Andrew Bartzis. If you go onto that page, there's in files, there's like 100 declarations of sovereignty. It's really good.
So how you were saying they were profound for you when when you first found them, what was it like?
Well, I've been doing that. I've found you since 2014. So I've been working with it for a long time. And when I do them, I'm going to say this out loud so I'll get me more on them too. Because what happens is like, I feel so great. Like, wow, I can do anything. Everything's great. And I go and I do them like 4, 5, 6, 7 days in a row. Like, wow. And I get to this place where I feel so powerful and clear that I feel like I've arrived. Like, well, now I'm here. Now I know what's going on. I'm sovereign. And I don't, then what happens in the subconscious or whatever is that I think, oh, I don't really need to do it again today. I feel so great. And then like a few days later, I notice that I'm sort of back to where I was before I did it. So I kind of go in this cycle and I'm working with my subconscious to like, you know, stay with it. Cause I've always set out to say, I'm going to do this for 21 days in a row and see what happens. And I'm not sure why I haven't made that because I get such great benefit from it. It's really just that I arrive and I think I've got somewhere.
You've heard me talk about daily practice, right?
Yes.
So why don't you work on making it just integrating into a daily practice and not give yourself these odd 21-day goals? Okay, so it's completely
really
integrated to the greater you.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point of the daily practice. It's what helps us generate the next level of what we want to be, because we're fortifying our reality, and the aggregate energies of what you're doing helps you create this wall of self-protection.
Mm-hmm. That's really good. I'm in a difficult living situation with like a drunk roommate, and I'm trying so hard to get out of the situation, and it's the heaviness has been difficult. So I think that's
karma.
Right.
That's karma you've created.
Oh, could you give me some insight on that? Because I'd love to like
you allowed
that.
You allowed it, and you're continuing to allow it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and as long as you're continuing to allow it, what damage are you doing to your reality?
Well, there's a lot I could say about that. Yeah, it's not fun to be here. I feel
personal choice. No matter what your financial situation is, you can get out of it. You're just not ready to break part of the pride situation where you might have to severely lower all of the things that you do for a while to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and you have to face yourself on that. How much more am I going to take?
Well, I've come to that place a lot. Like, I'm done with here, but then I don't, like, the income is an issue. You know, I don't want to go into all that, but it's
even if the income is issue, you can get government support that will help you out. Okay, you're just not applying for it.
No.
Okay, and that's pride. Okay. Is pride keeping you in that situation? Most of it.
Yeah. Well, that's true, because what I tell myself is that I can make a living. I'm skilled. I've got all this, you know, I just need to get myself out by making a good living. And so I'm working real hard on that online and such. But I didn't mean to make this to be about that topic.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's part of the natural evolution here, because part of where you're at is you're trying to understand how these skills techniques apply directly to you.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you have to apply the skill and the technique directly to what's your situation that you're in right now. Okay. I'm in this situation because I've allowed it. At what point will I stop allowing it? And what am I going to do that's actually going to show the universe I'm being sovereign all the time, but not allowing this in my reality?
I was thinking it was just an extra stretch for me to like find sovereignty amidst this difficult situation, and part of my success story altogether. But well, I'll just tell you, I don't know if you've talked about this before, so I don't know if I'm crossing subjects, but it is pride. It is pride, and also like this fear of accepting help, because it doesn't, like, people have turned on me a lot in the past with I've let them help, quote, let them help me, and then they get all weird about it, and it's or change the rules after I said yes to it, and it's been very difficult for me to distinguish who is a safe person to accept help from. And so
Martina, Martina, do you want to touch on that, Martina?
Yeah, I want to throw in another energy here. We've got pride and all of that. I'd like to throw in the energy of self-love, because for me, there's all, and I've been there myself. This is a commitment journey, okay? And a commitment journey to yourself, not anyone else. And that is the biggest aspect of self-love. Are you committed to you?
That's a good question. I'm doing my very best. And I think that you're right on about, me not.
And the other thing, sorry to interrupt you there, but before I met Andrew and the work and all of that, I did not understand repetition leading to elimination. I'm like, oh, fuck it. No. I'm fast. I can do this, and because I did get away with it with a huge level of success. I've been in corporate for 20 years. And when it comes to that individual journey of awakening, none of that shit works. You have to commit to yourself. You have to do the work. Just like Andrew said, you have to show the universe that you are now ready to step into that space. Ready to do the self-love. You're no longer doing it for money. You're no longer doing it for outside gratification, outside validation, all that bullshit. You're doing it for you. Fun not to tell anyone.
That's really helpful. Thank you.
And it's important for you to do it on your own and not have to go to the next situation where you have to ask for help. You're asking universe to show you that you'll be ready by getting the government assistance, whatever it is that you have to do to break the pride and avarice that's there, so that you can live on your own completely and grow completely on your own. Because there is a part of you that's that has a codependent relationship.
Yeah.
And use the teachings to help you get out of the codependent relationship into the independent living.
Yeah. Oh,
all right,
thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Thank you.
Thank you for everything you do, both of you. Bless you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
All right, next caller is Carissa Hanners, getting a signal.
Carissa, are you there?
I am. Can you hear me?
Yes. Where are you calling from today?
I'm from Phoenix, Arizona.
Phoenix, Arizona. Welcome to the show. What did you want to talk about today?
Thank you. I was really enjoying the conversation that you guys were just having about revisiting your past self and like the angels coming through like as your own angel. And I wondered if this has something to do with what you were talking about with the positive secret space program that you'd mentioned not long ago. Is that like related to soul contracts like that, or kind of just curious of how that kind of works?
Different situation, different subject matter of that one. When we're directly contacting ourselves, we become our own angelic. We become what's called the ancient future now. And in that situation, I've had many different techniques where I've told people how to go to their past selves and explain to their past selves through the acts of love that I am your future self and I'm here to tell you the future. What does it take for you to believe that I am your future self? And it's the secret space program. That's a totally different situation. That's affecting the hologram at a much bigger level than the individual you.
Could you tell me a little bit more about what the positive side of the secret space program could be? Go ahead.
Well, Well, obviously they talk about the negative, and no, people don't like to talk about the positive, which is getting people to eye-opening enlightenment without technology as an interface. All the star seeds that are there that are being activated, there are elements in the secret space program that are connected to the very positive communicators that are there trying to directly communicate to you in your meditation journeys, to get you to be aware of what a sovereign journey is, to get you to be aware that it's not about the conspiracy theory, it's about the applications and implementations of what you can do in your daily life. That you can throw off the shackles of civilizations demanding you be mediocre. Okay.
Yeah. Is there I have a feeling that I have some sort of relationship to that, but I'm not really quite sure of how to like navigate to figure out what things are like me coming back to like going back like the angelic way, like you were saying, like of how, you know, how do you prove to yourself that this is your higher self, you going back in time, versus it being something, maybe it's just that I'm thinking that it's something that's outside of me when it's not something outside of me.
It is not external, it's internal.
Okay.
And the greater journey for you is discovering the prayer process that is contribution and service to yourself, that elevates you to a higher level of power and energy where you have to accept that you're worthy of your own power. All too often, words like secret space program can be instantly weaponized against us because immediately it's going to take you external. Okay? So let go of the term secret space program altogether. Completely let it go. Can you allow that and feel that and not allow it to be a part of you as an attachment? Because it is a hopium journey for you. I think she's muted again, Robert.
Unmute. I think I got it. Or can you hear me again?
Yep, we can hear you now, yeah.
What are your feelings on all of the conspiracy theories and whatnot, like the whole QAnon stuff and all of that? Is that just all externalized problems?
Absolutely.
And it really is more of an internal issue within ourselves and within humanity, like as a collective?
I have said day one that the greatest lie the light workers are listening to is that it's a collective awakening. It was never meant to be a collective awakening. It's an individual awakening in which much deeper into the awakening, it becomes semi-collective. It's all about how individuals disconnect from Roman numeral time, understand that they have an unlimited amount of time value in the fourth dimension, and they must learn to become very familiar to live between two worlds, here and there, simultaneously, learning to live the duality as a singularity.
Okay.
So when it comes to the conspiracy world, the vast majority of it is a part of the apparatus of distraction for you. The more you're paying attention to it and not doing your own work, the more you're giving power to that global narrative that is ultimately going to slow the awakening journey down for the whole of humanity. So really it's about learning how to become a little bit more embodied, like you had mentioned earlier. Like I'm almost like projecting my things outward of like, well, if the world could fix itself type of thing. Am I smelling what you're cooking, right? You are right. You cannot tell the world to fix itself. You got to fix yourself first. Could you elaborate a little bit more on, you were talking about an empath versus an intuitive. Could you explain a little bit more of what the difference is there? So in my view, empath is the lowest level of all skills, the lowest of all psychic skills, the rock bottom. Everyone can be an empath, but because of the way Lightworker Society and crappy teachers have evolved, they have elevated it to where many people wear the empath red badge of courage on their chest and say, I'm an empath. Well, if the mouse farts next door and it upsets your energy, it's kind of sucky being an empath, isn't it? And most people have tuned up their empathy skills so high that the mouse farting next door causes pain and harm to them. And then you add in narcissist to the feeling, and empath has no chance of truly operating inside their body. Right. So intuitives are intuitives. Empaths are not. They don't use timestamp. And the more you are empathic, the less you are in your body. Right.
I feel like I've had a very hard time being in my body for a lot of my life. And especially when you mentioned earlier the suicide demons, how do you identify if that's part of your, I'm pretty sure I have some of that going on in my lineage too, but I don't know how to explain it to, like, you know, the 3D people in my life of like.
Don't explain it to them.
Okay.
All too often people learn something and immediately regurgitate it as a teacher. And that is a failure in humanity's capacity to learn and relearn subject matters. You've got to hold some of the stuff inside and truly process it before you regurgitate it to anyone else. Social media has made people information regurgitators. And what does the word regurgitate mean? You chew it, you swallow it to your stomach, you come back and you vomit it up. You don't truly know it. You haven't processed it, okay?
So it's about letting it go all the way through and shitting it out.
And then learning it again.
Okay.
Before you reteach it. And unfortunately, social media makes regurgitation very easy.
Mm-hmm.
And people never truly learn the truth of the energies. Martina, do you want to add anything on the regurgitating teachers?
Yes, I can. I just want to say something. I just had a realization here that the empathy teaching that you mentioned just now, the whole concept of it, for me, the energy is very similar to the conspiracy one. So that goes actually into the same sort of pot.
Yep.
Oh,
Because
interesting.
it's really a deflection from your own journey. And the regurgitation, what was that all about? Well, that's the teaching emanation, emulation, isn't it? What we're talking about, because, and also there is an element, and I understand that, because there's an element, let's call it sharing. It's like you have an insight and you feel like you want to share that, okay? So it's almost like you have an insight, and in order to cognitize it for yourself, you are sharing it with other people. Now that can be a problem, because as you share it with other people that are not on the same wavelength, the same signature frequency, you're actually backstabbing yourself because they think you're crazy, and energetically, it comes back to you as a backstabbing.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going backwards here a little bit, because that was what came up when you had that earlier conversation before the regurgitation energy. But this is really important, because, and I've been there myself. I get excited, and you want to share, and you're not doing yourself a favor here, and you're not doing others a favor either. It's almost like you're forcing a signature frequency match. Does it make sense?
Like I'm lowering my own vibe down to
you
their
do,
level
because
type of thing.
Exactly, because it comes back, and you almost can't help it. If you don't get the equal enthusiasm that you've just had, you want somebody to match that, and you're not getting that, it will have an impact on your trust and faith journey.
So I'm really needing to find people that are more of a vibration of where I'm at, then, because I feel like anytime I share anything, I feel like I am just
absolutely, yes.
There she is being crazy.
Yeah, and what if that person is you? How many I ams are out there? How many multiple versions of yourselves are out there who totally get you? Speak to them. Don't get outside of yourself. And the more you have that inner dialogue with yourself, the more you're actually empowering yourself, and you become potent. And that's when you then start attracting signature frequency matches that are actually on your wavelength. But by then you don't need it anymore.
Right. I think I have a tendency to withdraw in and just be like, okay, I guess I can't trust anyone because I don't know how to, it's almost like I take it to too much of an extreme, to where then I feel like I can't interact with the world, to where then I just feel like, am I just this island, like alone to myself?
And
is that how I'm supposed to do it?
That's your empathetic self creating that situation that kicks you out of your own body, though. And that's why when you use empathy, the lowest level of skills, and never touch into the higher ones, the intuition will lead you off the island instantly. Empathy won't show you where the boat is or the bridge.
Okay.
Don't entangle with that energy. When that energy comes up, just see it as a program that it is. Don't entangle with it. You know, you don't become a zealot that quickly. Okay?
Okay. Lots to think about, you guys. You guys are wonderful. I just appreciate it so much. Your work is so
Thank you.
amazing. You're both so amazing.
How long you been listening to us for?
I found you originally when you were interviewed with Laura Eisenhower. So I subscribed right after that and have caught things here and there, hit and miss, but really interesting stuff for sure. I love how expansive it all is.
So you should go back and listen to the Orchestra Consciousness 1, 2, 3. That will give you some really good basis at the demystifying time travel. Just look at the subject matters there that Martina and I've done. And we do a show pretty much every Tuesday, other than a few times that I've been ill. So there's about 20, 25 shows there for you.
Okay. Okay.
Because that's gonna illustrate for you that you're never alone. That you've got your DNA instrument is connected to so much in the unseen. And once you start inviting all of that to the party, then everything else changes.
Yeah, I think I've just been searching for some sort of validation to like ensure that my experiences are real. And I think I'm wanting to like of things that are spiritual, but I think I need to just, you know, kind of let that go and understand that like I can't always have the external validation like that.
Well, let me just say something to that. That's a trusted faith journey. Yeah. And you know what? If you have an experience, it pops into your mind, it's real. Just say it's real. Make it up. Yes, you made it up. It's that old thing. Yeah, you made it up. Okay, of course you made it up because it comes from that deep level of your knowingness that you haven't experienced yet, from that place of edge of unawareness. And nobody else will be able to validate it for you other than you.
Literally just you.
Because it's your experience. So don't poo-poo it, it's your experience. Be proud of it, work with it. Go to sleep with it, ask yourself in the dream space.
I think I'm just really scared of the people around me thinking that I'm insane and being like, okay, off to the mental hospital.
You are insane. You are insane. We're all insane because we are not fitting into the form, into the, like what Andrew always uses, that what cookie cutter form. We're not fitting in. But who wants to fit in?
That's
also,
true.
why does it matter what they think? Why are you looking through validation from others when the validation is internal for yourself? That's the nature of the spiritual journey. And that's why so many people who follow conspiracy theories get caught up in information overload and never actually do the real inner work, which is stopping external validation. And conspiracy world is all external validation.
Okay. Okay.
Find that rebel version in yourself and have a chat with her or him. Work together. It's good to be a rebel from that perspective. Okay? Because that makes this whole thing fun. I love my little side because this helps me. If my partner says I'm crazy, my daughter thinks I'm totally off my, yeah, that's fine.
Sure. It doesn't matter what they think.
It doesn't matter. It's just it's just so much fun. I look at it as that's fun for me. I know I have a weird definition of fun, but
Yeah, I think I just have a like unrealistic fear of getting put into a mental institution. I don't know if that must have happened in my family line or something. Like I just don't want to get Carrie Fishered.
Yeah, but you've made a myth about it. A myth that is controlling you right now, stopping you from delving to the rest of the way into your spiritual journey.
So that's probably like an attachment of some sort, or
an attachment to self-defeating.
Okay.
And it's that old thing, the more you resist it, the more you draw it into your reality.
And the more power you
that
give.
Significance. Yeah. You give it power by controlling and by resisting it. Just be that wild and wonderfully weird person that you are.
Yeah, I think I also worry about being a little bit too much for people. I feel like I always have to tone it down to be accepted, and I don't really like that I have to do that.
Okay.
where you
now,
don't.
That's a fear you've created in yourself so you don't become powerful.
Yeah.
Okay. That means you
Yeah.
have a self-worth issue and you have a holding your own power issue.
Yep.
Well,
Yep.
also there's something else. There is this energy of not wanting to hurt others,
Mm-hmm.
making
Yeah, I
yourself
definitely don't want to.
smaller because you don't want to stand out. Now you got to stop that shit.
As long as you're not going full Karen, I want to speak to everyone's manager and tell you how to live their life, and not stop stepping on people's journey. Go full tilt into the energies that are you.
Yeah.
Accepting who you are internally. Stop looking for external validation to accept who you are. I'd have never been doing what I'm doing if I didn't do that journey. Accept who I am internally. Okay, let me tell you.
Right. I've got a side topic. I see that you smoke, and I have such guilt over smoking. Like I feel like I can't be a spiritual person. So just thank you for smoking.
You're welcome.
And
I get hate mail from it. But not really. It was more hate mail in 2014, 2015 when I'd smoke that. I'd actually roll my tobacco on there and like trigger people that way. But again, it's my personal choice. People don't tell me what to do. And there are many people that have discovered the joy of smoking, even though there's cancer, there's this, that, but I'm choosing to use stuff that's all natural product with no additives in it. Okay.
So that probably makes a very big difference then. And
Gigantic.
and ceremonial even. It's all natural like that. So that does make a difference. I do need to quit. I'm not sure how to, or at least maybe switch it up, like you're saying, to the natural,
right?
The natural portions of it. But I think I'm really hard on myself when it comes to like, oh, my vibration, and I'm not eating right, and I'm not this, and I'm not that.
But that's just you beating yourself up. Okay.
I'm very good at it.
I decided a long time ago, I'm going to quit quitting and just be a successful smoker.
I think maybe I need to adopt that.
Successful to the point where I can control it, and I'm not allowing the nicotine addiction to run my life.
Okay, so that's my problem. Is I definitely allow that, and I think it's just making the anxiety worse.
Yes, because you're beating yourself up all the time.
Yeah, it doesn't stop. It's endless.
Yeah.
I used to do that with booze, with drinking, because and once you stop making it significant and you get on with the journey of self-love and commitment and self-mastery and all that, it may or may not just stop one day. Like with me, I just like, okay, now I don't have to do it anymore. I can still have it if I want to, but I will not overdo it anymore, or I certainly will not put myself onto a guilt trip when I have a glass or two.
So really, it's the not giving yourself a guilt trip over it and learning to control the
Gotta stop making it significant. And the only reason why we make things significant is because our focus is misplaced. So what I would say is add something to your life that you truly, truly enjoy, where you don't have to get back into that numbing, into that old habit pattern. When I'm in this type of frequency here, I don't need to eat, I don't need to drink, I don't need anything. I'm perfectly happy with that, because this is who I truly am. This is what makes me happy. Yeah. So it's that refocus, but not from a forced perspective. Just add things to your life and try them out. What actually engages you to a level where you do not need any of that addictive type stuff.
Well, I appreciate it so much. Like, this has all been amazing. And thank you.
Well, thank you for calling in.
Thank you.
All right, Robert, let's spin up the wheel of callers and see who is next.
Okay, thanks, Carissa. Jesse Bobessi, signal to unmute.
Jesse, are you there?
I am here.
Hi, where are you calling from today?
Hi, everybody. I am calling from Sonora, California.
Sonora, California. Welcome to the show again. How you doing today? I just asked you that. What did you want to talk about today?
Well, let me just be honest. I woke up and I missed the 9 o'clock live, and I jumped on with your last caller, but she was speaking to me. I felt like the same as always when I call. Everybody that's calling in it's like hitting home for me. So let's see, I'm like almost so excited. I'm nervous because I've waited so long to get on a call, though I have called before, and we talked over a year ago now.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if you remember, I mean, maybe we could you could talk about, we'll just follow up with where we went, last talked. And
Well, this show is not for private session stuff. We're
oh
saving
no,
that for Thursday. Yeah.
oh, what?
So today's
Okay,
show is about the shows Martina and I regularly do, and then people asking questions on that.
okay. So your topics today, what were your topics today? Stepping in time.
Yeah, stepping back in time.
Okay.
All the
Cool.
previous shows Martina and I have done.
Of course, I get on a call where I signed in halfway through. And by the way, Martina, I follow you on Facebook, and I always love your posts, and I always love watching you and listening to you and Andrew on a show together. The two of you together are probably my favorite.
Oh, thank you.
So back in time, I've been trying to apply the tools, tips, and techniques that you two share. I've been doing more revocations and trying to clear out the dream spaces so I can, have that connection with my dreaming body. And I have been noticing more and more opening to that, but I still feel like disconnected, and I have this sort of rush. I know that I'm still detoxing from that Roman numeral time, and I just don't know what things I can add to do to really get that ball rolling.
So let's first talk about effort.
Yes.
Before you started doing the practice, what was effort for you?
I still I'm always aiming for the A+ effort, but I'm so distracted in my mind, so habits and starting these, daily practices for me is like a struggle. I feel like
Because
every
effort,
day
because effort is hard for you to summon. You're still
yes,
making effort mystical. Effort is not mystical.
right,
Commitment, courage, and discipline are not mystical. So it is the everyday things that you're challenging yourself with.
right,
If your mind is cluttered, whose fault is that?
mine,
Accept that. And accept you have to declutter your mind as the implementation and application of the techniques.
right,
And that accepting clutter is you telling the universe, I'm not ready.
okay.
Who will clear out your life? No one but you. Who will be
Yeah, I always feel
successful in
like
your
I'm
life?
cleaning and clearing on an external, but
It's
where do I?
you gotta
Yeah,
do the internal, which
yeah.
you're afraid to hit head on because you have all these distraction implants you put inside yourself.
Oh,
That puts
yeah.
you back to looking at the external.
And that's what is hard for me to like gauge the no time, because I'm always in a race for time. Like I've missed out on so much and on the sidelines of my life, and this time's all going by, and these kids are all growing up, and everything's being missed, and I'm like, where am I in this flow of time that I feel so behind on everything I'm doing? And
That is shame, blame, and guilt.
yeah, definitely.
Okay, Martina, you want to touch on what you just talked about?
What did you just say? You said you missed out on no time? Did you say?
I feel like I have a hard time feeling the flow of no time because I'm so caught up in the shame, blame, and guilt of that I missed out, you know, on everything.
Okay. Let me actually, let's look at that. Because when you say you missed out on no time, what if you, what if I say to you, you're actually continuously in no time? You're actually not present.
It's always right there. You're right. Yeah.
So you are spending more time in no time whilst you're looking for no time.
Right. I'm like, where's no time? I'm in it right now.
You got to come back. You got to join the living.
Yes, join the
back into the body, right?
I wanted to do zombie makeup today or tomorrow just to feel dead alive. No, that's okay. Yeah, join the living.
With effort.
With effort and joy, because I think when you hit you're making effort or mystical, you're always saying that with, you know, courage is not mystical, you know, and I never, you know, effort I put right there. I didn't realize I was putting so much behind the effort. I always feel like I'm trying to be that straight A student, and the shame, blame, and guilt kicks in because I'm not doing 90 minutes a day, or I get, you know, I'm on the no plan that something always wants to, like, I know that I kind of turn towards other people's emergencies and let them in, you know. But yeah, I mean, I was considering doing a detox, a microdosing regimen, the month that you had talked about.
That would be the absolute wrong thing for you to do.
And could that be why my intuition has just been not doing it yet? I've thought about it for a really long time, and I want to do it correctly.
Okay, correctly would mean you've already got a daily practice and have learned discipline, commitment, and courage are not mystical, and you can summon them on will.
Okay.
Okay.
Right.
That's the cheap and easy way that you think it's going to give you these experiences that are going to motivate you mystically to go do more. That's not why you would microdose. Microdosing is for you already well on the path. You've mastered the meditation skills. You've mastered the fact that you do your sets every day.
Right. And I love writing, and I'm in that space where, again, I put too much in front of sitting down and writing and letting it all out. And I loved your guys' show on the, you know, on creating stories and stuff. And it motivated me and inspired me to really look at it from all new angles. And I still feel like you said, not in a groove yet, to where if I did do the dosing, I really want to really put that writing at the forefront of that and spend the time really journaling things out. And I don't want to, I kind of feel like you're right. Just maybe dial it in a little bit longer and clear out my clutter before I do that.
No, learn to master the skills. Clearing out clutter does not mean you're a master at doing it. It just means you've put a little bit of effort and cleared out the clutter. What about the future clutter that's going to come and reclutter it up?
Right. Are revocations working for the clutter, or is that just, I mean, I feel like they're working in a lot of ways, like really empowering a lot of things, but I, you know, again, the clutter comes racing in, you know, the foggy thoughts and stuff come racing in when I'm in the middle of a revocation sometimes.
Then something's wrong with you if foggy thoughts are trying to overwhelm your effort, commitment, and courage.
Mm-hmm. Yes, well, I am working on all of that. I am working on, you know, some process coaching.
Let me ask you the toughest thing you're going to have to ask yourself. What are you truly avoiding?
I guess the typical my power.
Come on.
My avoiding maybe memories I don't you know, like hard, like traumas.
Come on, you're even avoiding giving an answer. Okay.
Okay. What is the thing I'm most avoiding?
Mm-hmm.
That I'm in denial of something.
Martina, you want to help her out here?
But first of all, this is a question you have to ask for 30 days over the next 30 days.
Okay, what am I avoiding?
Make that your mantra, because there's not just one answer to that. And when we ask a question, typical Access style, which is a perfect way of looking at it, there's not just one answer. And we don't want to go into conclusion. But from what I'm getting here, when we ask the question, what are you avoiding, is the commitment journey. It's the commitment journey, right?
Okay.
And looking at the mystical the wrong way around. Lots of people think the mystical is a result of the commitment of the work that we do. So it's a byproduct. As you start doing, I had to learn that too, because nobody teaches you that. But with the work that I've done over the last couple of years, and keep hearing this, repetition, self-illumination stuff, it really works that way. You stepping into the mystical once you do the work, because that's innately who you are supposed to be. That's who you are. We all are that. But keep asking the question, what am I avoiding? But stop avoiding it would actually give me what I'm looking for. Write it down. There will be lots and lots of different answers. And then you can look at the energy, because the energy of the different answers might match that one energy. It's no point for us to tell you. You need to figure it out yourself.
Right.
It tells you now, you think, oh, okay, and it means nothing, right?
Yeah.
Ask the question, 30 days, every day.
30 questions. Okay, every day. What am I avoiding?
Same question. What am I avoiding? Goes for everyone who wants to. I do it. I'm not just saying that. I'll do it.
Ask yourself 4 or 5 times a day, what am I avoiding? For 30 days. Yes. Morning, afternoon, and night. What am I avoiding?
What am I avoiding? Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, darling, we got to let you go. Thanks a lot for calling in.
Thank you very much. You two have a blessed day. Thank you.
All right, Martina, we're at the end of the show. Do you want to give a way for people to get a hold of you?
Yes, please. www.synchholistic.co.uk and earthnouveau.com. Weekly free Zooms with the mentorship group on a Wednesday. So look it up. Find it, earthnouveau.com or my website here. Thank you, Rob.
And you guys know who I am. I'm Andrew Bartzis. You go to my website, andrewbartzis.com. Find me on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and all those other wonderful places. We'll be back this Thursday with an open call-in show. And once again, this Friday with a pre-election, 3 days before the election Friday comedy show. Thanks a lot, everyone. We'll catch you this coming Thursday.
Bye. Thank you.
Each different bubble of reality is true. A galactic historian is a person that looks at all the lines of dramatic karma. Nudge, nudge, it's the Holy Grail. Improvise. Mysterious. It's counter psychic intelligence. Why is DNA farming of this star cluster so important?